Welcome to a shopping bag with a tear in it. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I find those models that you see me printing and painting on this channel. There's also a dirty, dark secret that I'd like to talk about within the 3D printing community. So when we're looking for models to print things like this or other things like this, it really depends on the kind of model that you're looking for. Ultimately, for high quality, you're gonna pay for those models. When 3D printing started, we all started out in a place like Thingiverse. Now, Thingiverse is the kind of website that will make you want to pull your hair out because it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. But it is a really good resource for small things that you might want to add into your projects. It also is a resource for free STL files. So how you use Thingiverse is you go into the search bar and you type the thing that you're looking for to print. Let's say Marvel statue. And usually the kind of things you'll find on Thingiverse are not the highest of quality, but they are a really good place to start if you don't have a lot of spare money to throw into your 3D printing just after you've bought a 3D printer. So I found the spider punk that I would like to have a look at. And this is one of the problems with Thingiverse. It seems like you're getting the full model, but actually what you're actually getting is just an arm. You're just getting this arm and not the entire model. But that's okay. Never fear, we can look more. And here I found a Spider-Man model that I think would be worthy of printing. It's got a great little base. It's got pretty good details from what it looks like in the images. You get a piece of web with it. Not too bad sculpt looking. The whole overall image looks pretty decent. There is also a bunch of files in here which are marked with exactly the names that we'd expect to see in a folder with a file for a printing model. On this website, you can download them all into one zip and you can unzip that folder later and have all the files you need to print this figure. Most of these printing places have the comments feature, so it's good to know if other people had problems with that model, and if they did, sometimes the fixes are in the comments. So Thingiverse is a viable place for looking for things that you know are not going to be highly sculpted or highly detailed sculpts, but you can find a lot of resources on there. Rocks, buildings, pieces of greeblies, things that you can use to add to your diorama or to your model that you are building currently. If you're consistently going to want to print and paint certain types of models, a really good place to look for these kind of models. This is a place where you'll find people who specialize in certain areas, and those areas will be depending on their own interests. Recently, I printed and painted Jessica Cruz. Jessica Cruz was sculpted by Deepauler 3D, and the sculpt was found on Patreon. In this case, this person had bought and paid for the sculpt, but could not paint the sculpt themselves. So they hired me to paint the sculpt. Patreon is a really good place to be if you have a specific interest in a specific area. And most patrons will be similar to this, where you will find they are specifically interested in one area, meaning you can pay monthly to have your same interest delivered to you every month in your inbox. Usually what will happen is there will be a couple of tier levels. In these tier levels, it will offer you different rewards according to the amount you pay per month. Most patrons these days are between the £8 and £10 range, and most of them are super high value for the money. For what you pay for, sometimes you get up to 3-4 different sculpts that you can print and paint. 9 times out of 10, you will not be able to keep up with your printing and painting to the level of the amount your patrons are putting out. It's impossible to keep up with these guys. Wow, Deepauler, you only got 35 patrons, bro. Your work is so good. So unfortunately, one of the things that I don't like about Patreon is a lot of people tend to hide their work in the Patreon. I'm not sure whether they know that this is what's happening. It makes it more difficult for people to buy or to buy into the idea of joining your Patreon. The only suggestion I'd have for this specific Patreon is to make more of these images visible, because people want these things, but if they can't see what they're getting, they're not going to want to join. However, I've used one of these sculpts and I can tell you, beautiful. Good job. Now I'm going to tell you about one of the best kept secrets of the entire STL industry. If you haven't heard about this guy, today is your lucky day. This guy's name is Sunix. He also goes by the name of Malix3 Design. This is Sunix's page. And one of the best things about Sanix's page is that it's £10 monthly and you get 2 models every month. Each month he releases 2 new models and sometimes throws in 1 or 2 extra little files in between. But that's not the best part about Sanix. The best part about Sanix is after 6 months of supporting him, he offers you 50% on any other sculpt on his website. And even better than that, after 12 months of supporting Sanix, everything on his website is free. You continue to pay your monthly fee and you can take and download any of his files absolutely free for the rest of the time that you support him. Also, Sanix allows you to sell the prints and painted print versions of his models. Another really great place to get files from is on Gambody's website. I haven't really used Gambody much, but knowing how Gambody works, most of the files are vetted before they can go on. They have been checked over by a professional so that you know you're not paying for a dud file. One of the things about Gambody's website is they often have a lot of competitions going on. You can win printers, win paints, win resins, win files, all sorts of things that go on the website. They also separated a lot of their things up into different categories, so it makes it easier for you to find the specific things you're looking for. And the great thing about Gambody's website is that everything is laid out exactly the same. There are different artists who sculpt these products, but the way they display it on the website is exactly the same as every product. So you get to see the file, you get to see scales, they tell you everything you need to know about the file long before you purchase the file. This is a really great feature. I wish a lot more websites would implement this kind of a feature. However, this is what you're paying premium for. And you've seen me paint this on this channel before. This comes from a company called 3D Wicked. They have a sister company called B3 Berserk. It's actually Berserk, I'm sure. I don't know how you say it, but they have a sister company. The 2 companies, technically they actually have 3 companies. They have one that does Marvel characters, one that does DC characters, and they have a Star Wars one as well. Wicked you can find on Patreon and you can subscribe to them monthly. You can also find them on CG Trader, as well as a lot of other artists you will find on CG Trader as well. A lot of these 3D websites have sales. They often have monthly sales. At the moment I suspect that it's the Black Friday sale, so as you can see most things have a sale price on them. I can tell you from experience, this specific file is so highly detailed that the $14 you're paying is well worth the file like this. This is B3 Berserk or Berserk or however the heck you want to say it. As you can see, they specialize in DC characters. Honestly, the detail on these guys' pieces is absolutely incredible. Everything that comes out of these couple of companies are incredibly amazing. And it wouldn't be right for me not to mention one of my favorite sculptors, who is Genesis, who goes by the name of C27 Collectibles, also on CG Trader. You can also find him on Patreon as well. And recently you will have seen that I had printed and painted this specific sculpture for a commission for someone. One other website which I need to mention, which I don't think many people know about, but is a really good resource for something that you specifically want but can't find the model of. There is a website where you can crowdfund specific sculpts, and that is co3d.art. The way this website works is you suggest a model, and if people want that model made as well, then everybody has a chance to crowdfund the sculpt of this model, meaning that instead of paying £300-400 for you to have a model sculpted, you only pay £10-15, and a couple of other people pay that kind of price, and you end up crowdfunding the sculpt that you specifically wanted. This was one of the files back when I was streaming on Twitch. My chat suggested that we make this file and we crowdfund this file, so we suggested the image, we picked an artist, and we ended up crowdfunding this file. It was a really great thing to happen. Unfortunately, I ended up funding most of this for myself, but it still worked out cheaper than commissioning that file from an artist exclusively. And it goes without saying that the honorable mention for this video is going to be Nom Nom Studios. This is Edith Cross and Ella Art have combined their work to make one studio, and again I feel like this is one of the best values for your money. These guys' stuff is specifically based around gaming and anime and things like that. It's really amazing sculpts. Their work is amazing, and I suggest you go and give them a look. All the links to every single artist that I've suggested and all the websites I've suggested will be linked in the description below, so feel free to look through and find someone who stands out more to you. And with that, I hope that I've given you an insight into where you can find some of the best sculpts on the market at the moment. and hopefully you find something that stands out for you and you end up picking the best artist for exactly what you want. I can personally say that I've used every single one of these avenues, and all the artists that I've mentioned in this video are some really amazing people. I've spoken to all of them individually and I really enjoy their work and I support everything that they do. One of the biggest, dirtiest secrets though, unfortunately, is that most of these artists' work is being ripped off and placed on other websites for a lot cheaper. If you don't see the artist's name and that file looks way too cheap to be true, 9 times out of 10 it's been stolen from the artist and sold on another website. And you should have the heart to know that if you buy that file, I don't want to have anything to do with you. You, sir, are a piece of crap. And I will always make sure that if I see those files on other websites, I report them and mention it to the artist every single time. Because it's disgusting that people can still work like that and make money out of it. I always support the artist, and I always make sure that even if I get a commission for a sculpt to be painted, I always pay again for that file. Even if I've had it 3 or 4 times commissioned, I will pay every single time to make sure that the artist gets their fair share of selling that file each time. So if you're buying files off the black market for a hell of a lot cheaper because you think it's really cool, don't bother watching the channel, because just like everyone else that doesn't care about anything that's going on the channel, just click the dislike and f off, man. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you like the video, make sure to give it a like, and if you really like the video, feel free to subscribe. And on top of that, we also have a Patreon where you can speak to me directly in Discord. I give tips, hints, tricks. I help you out as much as I can. And make sure to give me a subscribe, because for every 1 subscriber I get, I will have 1 more subscriber.